Hey.
So we just finished off our practical estimation video, and now it's time for us to move from estimation to rounding off. But there are a few questions we need to ask ourselves that's very important. Like one, why are we working with estimation and rounding off together? Do they have something in common? And another question is, why do we even round off? Like, why do I need to know this? Okay, so let's start at the first question. Estimation and rounding off does have something in common. They both are approximations of a number. Now, what does the word approximation or approximate mean? I'm going to read it straight from the tablet for you. It says, it's close to the actual, but not completely accurate or exact. Let me read that again. It's close to the actual, but not completely accurate or exact. So it's almost, but not really. But now let's look at an example. Let's take the time. If you ask your chommy, your homie, or your pra, what's the time now? They'll say something like, it's 2:15 or it's 15 minutes past 2. Now, is that exact? I don't think so. A more exact time would probably be something like, it's 15 minutes and 22 seconds past 2. Now, can you just hear, it's just too much. Do we need the exact time? Not in this case, right? Not when you're asking for the time. Now, rounding off just makes our life a bit easier, right? The same reason you don't type the full words when you're on WhatsApp, laugh out loud. You don't do that. You just type in LOL. It's easy to use, simpler, and it works. That's one of the same reasons we round off. Let's look at the price of the Audi that we checked out in the previous video. The price of the Audi is 3,668,700. That's the exact price. But if I'm going to share it with someone, or I'm going to tell someone what the price is, I'm not going to say it's 3,668,700. I'm probably going to say something like, the car is 3.6 mil. It's 3.6 mil or 3.6 million. And that looks like this. 3, 6, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You see? It makes things simpler. And another reason why we round off is, some numbers continue for forever. So we round them off. Look at the number 6.3333333. It just continues. So all we'll do is we'll round it off to 6.3. Because it makes sense. And now that you know this, now that you know why we round off and the importance of it, now we are going to look at how to round off to the nearest 10, the nearest 100, the nearest 1,000. And once you can do that, you can round off to even bigger numbers. So, right about now, we are going to learn how to round off to the nearest 10. And the numbers we are going to use to do so are the numbers 22, 37, and 45. But we will be starting off with the number 22. Now, the first thing we need to know when they ask us to round off is to know what exactly do they mean when they say round off to the nearest 10. Essentially, what they mean is that we need to find which multiple of 10 the number 22 lays closest to. And now we need to know multiples of 10, which we know, right? It's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and it can continue for forever. So, let's use the number line with the multiples of 10 on to see which multiple of 10 the number 22 lays closest to. So over here, we have a number line with 6 multiples of 10 on. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now where do you think 22 will lay on this number line? I think it will lay somewhere over here. So clearly, if 22 lays somewhere over here, then it's closest to 20 and to 30. So 22 lays closest to 20 and to 30. But for us to determine which multiple of 10 it lays closest to, we need to zoom in on the section over here. So let's do that. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So the number 22 lays over over there. So let's see which multiple of 10 it lays closest to. 20 or 30? It's 2 places away from 20. And how many places is it away from 30? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. So clearly the number 22 lays closest to 20. And because the number 22 is closer to 20 than to 30, we will round off to the number 20. So our answer is 20. So now we are going to look at the number 37. There we go. So let's look at the number line and see more or less where the number 37 lays. I think 37 would lay somewhere over there. But again, let's zoom into this section to see if the number 37 lays closest to 30 or if it lays closest to 40. Let's check. So it's 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Now, the number 37 lays over here. So 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So it lays over here. Now let's see which multiple of 10 the number 37 lays closest to. It lays 1, 2, 3 places away from 40. And how many places away from 30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So clearly the number 37 lays closest to 40 and further away from 30. Therefore we're going to round up because we're moving further up and closer towards the number that's higher. And our answer to this question is 40 because the number 37 lays closest to 40, which is the closest multiple of 10. So now let's have a look at the number 45. Now remember, we have to round the number 45 off to the nearest 10, which means we have to find which multiple of 10 the number 45 lays closest to. So where on this number line do you think the number 45 will lay? 40 over here. And again, let's look closely at this section over here between 40 and 50 to see if 45 lays closer to 40 or if it lays closer to 50. It's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. And 45 lays over here. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Ooh, if you agree, and if you look closer, you'll see we have a bit of a problem here. The number 45 lays dead center between 40 and 50. Let's count. It lays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places away from 40 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places away from 50. So it's directly in the middle. But the mathematical world has decided that when it lays in 45, that we have to round up and we mustn't round down. And because we must round up, 45 rounded to the nearest 10 will be 50. And now we are going to get to the rule, because now we create a rule that allows us or helps us round off without using the number line every time. And we're going to dig into that right now. So we can use the number line to round off numbers, but it becomes a bit hectic. It becomes a bit too much. Who wants to draw a number line all the time, right? But fortunately, there is a rule that we apply when rounding off, which is based on what we just done with the number line. Let's look at the first number we worked with, number 22. Now, step 1. Look at the number and find the tens place. And that's because they're asking us to round to the nearest 10. And this is the ones, and the number over here is in the tens place because this 2 represents 20. That's the first step. The second step is to look at the number next to it. Now, if the number next to it is 4 or less, our number here, which is the 2, will stay the same, and the numbers behind it will become 0. If the number next to it is 5 or more, then this number over here will increase by 1. The number in our tens place will increase by 1, and the numbers behind it will become 0. So, clearly this number is 4 or less, and therefore our number in the tens place will stay the same, and the number behind it will become 0. And that's exactly the same answer we got when we use the number line. Let's look at the next number. The next number is 37. And what must we do? We must locate the number that's in the tens place. So now let's see which number is in the tens place. That's the ones, the 3. This number 3 is in the tens place because we're rounding off to the nearest 10. Now, let's look at the number next to it. The number next to it is 7. And that falls in the 5 or more category and not in 4 or less. Remember, when the number next to it is 4 or less, the number in the tens place will stay the same. If it's 5 or more, it will increase by 1. And this number over here, number 7, falls into the 5 or more group, and therefore the number in the tens place will increase by 1, and the number behind it will become 0. You got it? Now, the last number. Step 1, locate the number in the tens place. And over here, the 5 is in the ones place, and the 4 is in the tens place. Now what do we do now? We look at the number next to it, and this is the number in the ones place. Is it 4 or less, or 5 or more? We can see that it's 5, and therefore the number in the tens place will increase by 1, and the numbers behind it will become 0. And that is the rule that we apply when we're rounding off. Step 1, look at the value in the tens place. The next step is look at the number next to it. If it's 4 or less, the number we are focused on will stay the same. Or if it's 5 or more, it will increase by 1, and then the numbers behind it become 0.
Hey, you're the